I'm not aware of anyone else that really specializes in mushrooms. What does that space look like of people who focus just exclusively on mushrooms?
Yeah, the mushroom space is very interesting. There are people who focus on mushrooms. I mean, there are mycologists that are out there. I am probably a mycologist to a bunch of people who aren't mycologists, but I don't really consider myself a mycologist. I'm more of like a cultivator or a grower or a farmer. There are people who go and get PhDs in this kind of stuff, and you would not want to forage with me. I do try, but like, let's not do that. And so the mushroom industry, commercial cultivation wise, a lot of it is centralized in Pennsylvania, about in the United States. About 80% of it is in that region. And a vast majority of it are button mushrooms. And so white, brown, and portobello mushrooms, they're all the same mushroom. They're agaricus, grown in similar ways. And they're a fine mushroom. We talk a lot of smack about button mushrooms. They're not bad for you. They are very good for you, actually. And so if it's the only mushroom you can get, that's great. But there's just so much more out there. And when you get into specialty mushrooms, there are some larger commercial growers. We're becoming one of them. But most of the time, people are either sourcing them from farmers markets, like smaller growers that sell locally, or at restaurants, or they import them. There's a much larger industry that exists in Asia, mainly in China, Japan, and Korea. About, I think it's estimated like 80% of the global mushroom production is in China. And so, it's a way bigger kind of industry out there. There are pros and cons of those kinds of production. Every region has their own sort of way of doing it. In the mushroom area, it's similar to kind of leafy greens in that a lot of the emerging technology originally came out of the Netherlands, actually. And so when you're looking at greenhouse stuff, a lot of it is Dutch technology. They've been doing it for a really long time. But a lot of the newer tech is coming out of Asia as well, because there's so much more interest there. The US is very young, which I think is really exciting. And I think a lot of people from overseas think is really exciting. The average consumption here is like 2 to 3 pounds per person per year. In China, it's estimated to be like 20 to 30 pounds per person per year. And so while you wouldn't expect an American consumer to quite get there, just adding a pound or two and completely changing the face of the mushroom industry in the United States is totally feasible when you look at numbers like that.